Welcome back to the Recap Center. Jenn is the sole survivor on a remote island. This isn't an ordinary island, because a sharkman creature starts to hunt Jenn down. We're going to start at the beginning of the movie, Sweetheart. Jenn Kirsty Clemens washes up on a deserted island. When she regains consciousness, she discovers a man she knows named Brad Benedict Samuel washed up nearby. Brad has a large chunk of coral protruding from his stomach. Jenn tries to treat Brad's wound, but he dies as a result of his injury. Brad asks, "Have you seen it before he dies?" Jenn finds herself alone on the island and takes a flare gun from Brad's life vest. She investigates the small island and discovers items left behind by a family who were previously stranded there. Jenn discovers a small box of matches among their belongings. After a nighttime storm, she discovers a number of dead fish washed up on the shore. Jenn also discovers a mutilated dead shark with large gashes along its side while exploring the island. Jenn comes across some graves of those who were stranded there before her. Jenn then buries Brad just along the shoreline. She uses one of the matches to build a fire to cook some of the fish she found on the beach. The next morning, Jenn finds Brad's grave open and his body missing. She realizes she must not be alone, despite the fact that no one else is on the small island. Jenn immediately designs a spear for herself. The next day, Jenn discovers some of her luggage and other belongings floating just off the island. She swims out to retrieve them and notices a massive hole in the ocean floor just off the shore. That night, Jenn hears a plane fly overhead and fires a flare, but the flare falls into the ocean. Jenn notices Andrew Crawford, a creature, walking out of the water and onto the sand. Jenn can hear the creature making noises as it walks near the foliage where she is hiding. This is clearly the entity responsible for Brad's death. The creature fails to locate Jenn and retreats to the sea. Jenn tries to swim off the island the next day by floating on her luggage and life vest, but it is too unstable. She locates a hollow log where she can sleep. Jenn is woken up at night by the creature attacking the log, but it soon loses interest and leaves. When daylight returns, Jenn kills a small shark with her spear. She hangs it from the top of a tall tree and hides in a nearby sand hole she dug. Jenn falls asleep, and when she gets up, she sees the creature has pulled the shark from the tree and presumably eaten it. The corpse of another person Jenn knows floats ashore. Jenn ties the corpse to the top of the trees and lies in wait for the second time. She stays awake long enough to see the creature emerge from the ocean. It's massive, easily reaching the corpse suspended at the top of a tree. It is also clearly very powerful. Despite the fact that another plane is flying overhead, Jenn is unable to communicate with the creature on the shore. It consumes the corpse and goes back to the sea. Jenn hangs a hammock as far inland as she can get. She is hoping that the hammock will keep her safe from the creature. Late that night, the creature ventures inland and finds and destroys the hammock. Jenn flees for her life, with the creature following close behind. She stabs it with her spear as it jumps back ashore. The beast knocks Jenn aside and advances on her, but a thunderclap scares the beast away, and it flees back into the ocean. The next day, Jenn notices a life raft floating just off the island, on which are two different people she knows. Her boyfriend, Lucas Emery Cohen, and Brad's girlfriend, Mia Hannah Mangan. They come ashore and embrace. Jenn advises them to leave the island as soon as possible on the raft. She informs them about the monster having been on the verge of death. While trapped at sea and convinced Jenn is insane, the other two refuse to leave. It has been established that the boat they were all on sank. Mia and Jenn talk about their experiences. Mia believes that dying on the raft would be a terrible experience, whereas Jenn believes that staying on the island is even worse. Jenn tries to leave on the raft by herself after Lucas and Mia refuse to leave again. Jenn is knocked unconscious after the other two catch her in the act. Jenn regains consciousness while tethered to a tree. At night, she immediately starts rubbing the rope that is tying her to the trunk in order to fray it and free herself. Mia claims Jenn is untrustworthy because of events prior to the island, and she does not believe the creature exists. Lucas tries to talk to Jenn alone, but the couple starts arguing, and it becomes clear that the other passengers on the boat were Lucas' friends. He mentions Jenn having a bad attitude on the boat and threatens to end their relationship. Lucas begins yelling about Jenn not having a place to live, money, or a life without him. He is furious that, after all he has done for her, she would abandon him on the island. Jenn is unconcerned about any of this and simply wants to be released. The couple is startled to hear Mia scream and the creature growl. Lucas rushes towards the screams, where he sees the creature attacking Mia. He tries to fight it off with a torch, but it knocks him down. Jenn breaks free from her shackles and rushes to the shore, just in time to see Mia being dragged into the sea by the creature. The following morning, Jenn persuades Lucas to join her on the raft. The couple starts a fire with the last match they had and cook all the fish they had left. They board the raft and begin their journey. The creature attacks the raft. Despite their flares, the creature penetrates the raft's bottom and drags Jenn into the water. We get our first good look at it, and it turns out to be a kind of shark man, with clawed arms and legs like a human but a shark's head and fins. Jenn stabs it with a small knife as it drags her towards its hole in the ocean floor, and it releases her. Lucas attempts to assist but is attacked by the creature. Jenn stands helpless as it grabs Lucas and drags him into its den. Jenn swims back to the island, where she discovers the wrecked raft beached on the sand and prevents the fire from extinguishing. Realizing she has no other option, Jenn starts preparing to fight the monster. She makes a lot of spears and sets a lot of fires. She then writes a letter detailing her time on the island in case she does not survive. People have had a hard time believing her for her entire life, but they must believe her about this. That night, the creature reappears. Jenn encircles it in flames and stabs it many times. It eventually smashes her, knocking her out cold. She regains consciousness just in time to continue thrashing it with branches and rocks and stabbing it with her knife. The creature strikes a few times, but nothing fatal. The creature eventually collapses from its wounds, and Jenn impales it with a spear. She decapitates the creature as proof of her story. The camera pans out to reveal 1/3 of the island engulfed in flames as a result of the battle. Jenn stands victorious on the beach, but without any means of escape. Thanks for watching. Kindly subscribe by clicking on the subscribe button below, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we upload a new video.